In this small presentation, we shall be talking about the basic structure of an Arduino program. The programming language adopted by Arduino is something like a standard C. Let's begin with the simplest or opening statement where we define a group of words as comment. If we start a line with two backslashes, whatever follows those two backslashes are the comments, and compiler overlooks these words, doesn't compile. Generally, the comments are used by the programmer to elaborate what is being written after that. As in standard C, whatever variables are being used by the program must be defined. Generally, we classify variables in two categories: global variables and local variables. Global variables are those variables which are referred in all parts of the program, that is, main program as well as functions. So, if a variable is being referred in main program as well as in the functions, we must define that variable as a global variable. The global variables are defined outside any function as in the beginning. We will define the global variables in the beginning part of the program. Once the global variables have been defined, the next part of the program is defining the setup. The function is written as void setup, open a small bracket and close the small bracket, followed by next line beginning with opening curly brace. After this, we will put up the setup code. Now, what that setup code is? The setup code defines the mode in which different IO pins are going to function. This part is run only once. This means that the manner in which, the modes in which different pins are going to function, the functions cannot be changed. The functions may be, a pin may be defined to read a digital data, or a pin may be used to write the digital data, as the pin is defined in input mode or in output mode. Finally, finish the void setup function by putting a closing curly brace. Once we have defined the global variables, then we have defined the setup function. The next part becomes very important, that is void loop. This function is the actual task which our microcontroller is going to perform. The function is defined as void loop with opening small bracket and closing small bracket. In the next line, open the function with an opening curly brace. Now put all the codes which are to be executed one after another in this part of the program, and finally finish the program with a closing curly brace. Once the program execution reaches the closing curly brace, it again goes back to the opening curly brace and it gets repeated in an infinite loop. In this small presentation, we have learned the general structure of an Arduino program. There are three parts of an Arduino program. These parts are: in the first part, we define all the variables which we are going to use, particularly the global variables. as integer variables, character variables, or float variables. In the next part, we will define the setup function. Here, we define the pin functions as input or output modes. This function is executed by the Arduino program only once. Finally, we write the loop function as void loop. This part of the program runs in an infinite loop enclosed between an opening curly brace and a closing curly brace.